Welcome back to week 7 of the North American LCS. I'm Trevor Quickshot Henry, and I'm joined by the odd one from TSM. First of all, congratulations on the victory. It was a good game, it was an exciting game. I want to talk back about picks and bans. We've seen TSM experimenting with some champions, the Yorick, the Annie, the Zillion. But this game, you guys went back to, standard picks. So talk me through your picks and bans process.
Before we were trying to experiment with some new things like the Annies and Zao, but since we messed it up, our morale was like, okay, we're not doing this again. And we tried one of MVP Ozone's comps, but we didn't run it very well against C9. Yorick died in lane, and then Yorick's job was supposed to just hold lane, hold tower, and then we get the hyper carries fed, but it didn't work out that way. But for this game, we went back to comfort picks. We were expecting them to give us TF because as soon as we saw them first pick Sona, which is weird, we knew they probably had something. They were probably going to do Kassadin. I remember the last time they picked Yi against us and killed us a lot when we picked TF. But this time they gave us TF, so I figured they would pick Kassadin because Yi was banned, and I figured they'd pick Malphite, but they picked Aatrox instead. So it wasn't that big of a shock, but for the most part, we were really happy with our picks. And
talk me through the lane matchups then as well, because when we seen the TF locked in, we kind of assumed maybe TF Kassadin, and the casters touched on it as well. But you guys ended up throwing that Jace in the mid lane. Was that talked about just in loading screen, or was it also part of the game plan?
It was part of the game plan. As soon as we saw the Kassadin pick, we knew Jace would do much better against Kassadin than TF could, because Jace can really abuse that lane really well. So we tried to get that matchup as much as possible, while TF just held towers and made sure that Kassadin didn't get too fed, or else he'd just snowball and kill our squishies.
It seemed to work out pretty well, because even though Dignitas appeared to be in the lead in terms of the early game finding picks, you guys had more objectives and more gold, but it was very chaotic. So what led to that, the fact that you could take objectives but you kept getting picked off?
We just kept pushing around the map. Twisted Fate would be on the opposite side of the map when we get wiped. But that was usually a mistake. We shouldn't have forced stuff, because they had nobody that could really stop Twisted Fate's split push. Because Twisted Fate, if someone goes up the top, Twisted Fate would just ult away or just push on the tower. So we made a few mistakes at the first, I think second or first dragon. The backline got hit, and then we lost a fight, so that didn't go so well. But as long as we didn't get picked off, we would easily get objectives, because our wave clear is much stronger than Kassadin's, and we have TF global passive. We have Nasus who clears waves, Jace who clears waves. So almost everyone on the team clears waves really fast, and we just got towers from that. And then eventually, they can never really fight us unless they picked off one of our backline members, because I just wither whoever dove in, and then I just blocked the rest of it.
What was the game-winning moment? I mean, like I said, it was back and forth. We were trading, and both teams made some mistakes. But at what point did you say, "Well, we've got this"?
Probably when their mid-inhib tower went down. They were completely out of position for some reason, and we got a free tower. If you lose an inhibitor tower against Twisted Fate, that inhibitor is probably going to go down very fast. And once you lose an inhibitor, you basically lose an immense amount of pressure, because that lane is always going to be pushing, and Twisted Fate can always ult and kill something else like bot lane or the inhibitor when it respawns. So once that happened, we knew as long as we didn't get picked off over and over, we'd probably win the game.
Well, it seemed to work out. You guys played it patiently and kept in control. With that victory, you're now sitting at 9-9 in the league, and you were tied at 8-9 with a number of other teams. How does that feel, picking up a victory, knowing you've still got 2 more games this week already?
We take it one game at a time. Right now, we have to face second place and the first place team. So this week, it's very possible we could be closing in on second, if not second. Really depends on Vulcan's performance, but right now, we're trying to recover from the shaky early mid-season. So right now we really want to get top 2 so we can get a bye in the playoffs.
Having a 500 record definitely helps, and you've touched on the fact that you are playing Vulcan in Cloud9 today and tomorrow. And how much preparation goes in leading up to the games? We were talking to Mitos earlier, and he was saying, well, we'll prepare for our coast game now in these next 3 or 4 hours that we go out there, prepare for tomorrow's game tonight. Is it a similar process with TSM, or how and when do you prepare?
If we have 2 games in a day, we'd prepare before or at night for the first game, and then do a little bit on picks and bans for the second game, but nothing really concrete, because maybe we could see something or one of their games before our game and just touch on their picks and bans and then modify ours. So then we just take it one game at a time and don't assume anything. So right now we're probably going to prepare for Vulcan.
Well, best of luck with the preparation. For the last question, we've seen the feature on the Odd Bros. You went putt-putt or mini golfers, whatever it's called. Yeah. I've heard a lot of questions, a lot of people talking about that. What was the scorecard?
I think we did really badly on the last holes. I got really lucky in the early holes, and then we kept getting double bogeys, and then the mini golf rule says you can't, or 5 putts is the max. So we got double bogeys on like several of the last holes, but I eventually won in the end.
I love the fact you're using actual golfing terms, even though it is putt-putt. But anyways, well played. Thank you for the interview. We're going to be throwing it back over to the caster desk.